Because apparently the first one was so well received, despite having effects that looked like a coked up rhinoceros slapped them together with its nuts, a script that seemed like it was written by Edward Furlong during rehab, acting worse than most school plays involving 5-year-old children whose parents smoked during pregnancy, and verbal pubes that don't have any goddamn subtitles. But hey, this one was also so well received that it actually became an animated series. A third one was even in the works but never materialized, and a lot of the characters in this koala turd are apparently canon when it comes to the Star Wars mythos. Although a TV movie, it did have a theatrical run in the UK and Germany, and much like its predecessor, it also won a damn Emmy for visual effects, and people still found it charming. The film takes place around 6 months after the original, but still between Empire and Jedi, which makes no sense because the Ewoks can speak English.
I think you understand.
The little girl Sindel and her family are about to finally leave upon fixing their ship until they're attacked by some space monsters. Sadly, she manages to escape, but her brother, again played by Eric Walker, who by the way I forgot to mention before, his character in these films is actually called Mace. I guess he had the reverse MJ surgery because he grew up to become Samuel L. Jackson.
Does he look like a bitch?
But they aren't so lucky. Weirdly, her dad is now played by Paul Gleason. Sindel manages to escape the madness and watches him take on all these bad guys, but he manages to get away. He then tells his small child to just run. He doesn't even try to protect her or anything. Just run.
Don't look back, just run fast. Run.
Oh, and she couldn't even do that right. And then she gets captured 2 seconds later. What the hell did you expect? Sindel and Warwick Davis, who I'm not going to lie, I thought was the Ewok who died in the last film, but I guess he got better, roam around looking for shelter before being taken in by Santa Claus. I'm not even joking. The movie is literally Sindel wanders around, gets captured, escapes, she wanders around, gets captured, escapes, repeat until annoyed. But there is genuinely a scene where Santa refuses to feed Sindel and the leprechaun, and this little arsehole has to zoom out and feed them in secret behind his back. This is a real dilemma in a Star Wars movie. And then the furball sits on a stick that he used to start a fire and hurts his butt. By 38 minutes of this hour-and-a-half movie, not a damn thing has actually taken place. This isn't a feature film, it's a test of mental endurance. It's just Ewoks roaming around. One gets stuck in Santa's trap and then gets let out instantly. None of it actually leads to any relevant conflict. It's just things taking place one after the other. It doesn't lead or build or connect to any form of genuine story. But they go out of their way to avoid having a story. We learn that Santa's friend or relative, I don't really care, left him there and hasn't returned since, just like Sindel's family. So naturally, you think, oh, this is going to lead to a big reunion at the end. They're all going to meet back up. No! It's never acknowledged again. It's never touched upon again. It is entirely pointless. It only gets worse as the film progresses. We just watch an endless string of space creatures drinking and hurting themselves. It's like space, jackass. And the escape takes forever. They basically need to rescue some cell thing to fix Santa's sleigh. But they just go back and forth from the cell to escaping to the cell and escaping, and it lasts around 20 goddamn minutes. There's chases, terrible special effects, but then it goes to the woods, so it's exciting. Ooh! This is literally the rest of the movie. Shooting, running, and explosions involving people I don't give a piss shower about. There's even a challenge where Santa has to beat some goblin, and it's treated all intense, but I couldn't care less about any of this. The characters are either boring or arseholes, so I'd rather they get massacred right here anyway. And when the monster dies, this bird, who's a villain in disguise by the way, flaps around for some reason, and I guess we're meant to be happy, followed by an emotional goodbye scene, but I just don't care about any of this. I'm more invested in hiring the McCanns for babysitting services.
What's wrong? Shh. Danger.
Lucas wants to do a third one.
What's that?
An emotion, you little bitch! And no, don't use the excuse of her age, because kids can act! Just hire a kid who can act for 2 movies!
Stay away! Get help! Get dad!
That is the only line Mace has in the entire movie, and it was atrocious.
Hey! What's going on here? What's the matter?
What's going on here? Why am I in this? Can they do anything right? The Ewoks still have no subtitles, but it's not really that much of an issue now. There's only a few times when it's really needed. For the most part, they speak English, so it's at least more tolerable than the last one. But I guess the Ewoks are Superman because they constantly know exactly where Sindel is at all times to rescue her. The others aren't too bright though, as they clearly escape right in front of them. One monster even roars at them, and they still don't notice they've escaped. Oh, there we go. Better late than never. They befriend a new monster thing called Teak, who has super speed. Is this Star Wars or Looney Tunes?
What you're talking about?
But Teak makes all of this film seem meaningless since he could easily resolve absolutely any conflict. Towards the end of the movie, they have to sneak in, steal a key and save her. But Teak has super speed. What's stopping him from zooming in and doing it all before anyone even realizes?
Teak!
Oh, and she gives him away instantly. She deserves to die. In fact, yeah, Sindel is a horrible person in this. I mean, I thought she was an ungrateful little butt sniffer in the first film for wanting to abandon her parents to befriend the gremlins from the planet Pit. But here?
Nobody lives here anymore. We can clean up and this could be our house.
Theft. That's theft.
Can you remember the last thing your father said to you? What?
I'll always be with you.
No, actually, he told you to run and not look back.
Don't look back, just run fast. Run.
You couldn't even do that right. You disobeyed him, you useless little fanny. And then she sings a song randomly because you can't hate a little girl who sings a song. Yes. Yes, you can. Then she wanders off and gets herself in danger, now risking Santa and Fluffball's lives. But I don't even feel bad when she's kidnapped. Every problem has been caused by her.
Wicked, are you hurt? Not hurt. They're all running away. Everything's okay now.
How can someone so adorable make me want to decapitate them so much? There's also the villain who looks like she should be in the Power Rangers, but she turns into a bird and then talks to her Emperor boss who's less cool. This looks like an episode of Crystal Maze, not Star Wars. But for reasons I don't care about, she gets locked up as well as Sindel, but instead of showing a shred of honor or empathy, a shred of sympathy, or any kind of redeemable quality as a hero, they go to save the villain and Sindel steps in and refuses, leaving her there, possibly to die.
No, not her. She's evil.
You know how heroes usually do the right thing? You know, stand by honor so they're not as bad as the villains. What happened to that?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Santa's character is honestly one of the worst written pieces of dog AIDS ever typed up. I want to personally break the writer's fingers, get them stuffed, and beat him over the head with them until he learns how humans act. Until he learns how characters transition, because this is a joke. Right off the bat, we get all this sinister music for his introduction, but then he's just a normal dude. I mean, what's with all this build-up?
Square root of pi.
And basically, Santa is furious at finding the kids, you know, breaking into his home, and kicks them out into the cold with no food, refusing to let Chewbacca's poop feed them. Then, after he does it anyway, Santa lets them sleep on the floor. There's literally no change. He just suddenly says, nah, have a nap there, that's fine. Then Sindel has a nightmare, and he's suddenly the nicest guy on the planet and consoles her. What the hell are these writers on? Because then he comes home a few moments later, the kids aren't there, and he clearly misses them, but pretends to be a hard ass and acts like he's glad they're gone, even being mean once they return. And that's it. Literally, there is no Ebenezer Scrooge moment. There is not a single frame of film that shows them genuinely bonding. He's an arsehole, then he's not. Then he's an arsehole, then he's not. So whenever he's in mortal danger, I don't give a shit. He's an arsehat. Why would I root for his survival?
What do you mean?
I do not care if it's the 80s. Many films in the 80s or even earlier had incredible effects. And I don't even care that it's on a TV movie budget. They had George Lucas backing it. These are horrendous, and this won a damn Emmy? Even the green screens are inexcusable. Look at this. I've seen more convincing bullshit from an Earl Hebner interview. And on top of that, the effects are so bad, combined with a story that I just don't care about, that I find it impossible to get involved or invested in any of the action scenes. Look at how much shit is going on, and I don't give a fuck. They get carried away by these defective pterodactyls, and it looks like Grade A Under 8 edited the effects. There is no excuse for this. Is this a movie or a practical joke sent to a TV studio to see if the dumb fucks would actually air it? Just look at how the 756-year-old Saint Nick manages to get into the castle. You buying any of this? No, you can't buy it. You'd sell it for free, and you still want a refund. Aha! The movie is painful. No humor, no interesting characters, no decent performances except maybe Breakfast Club Man for 2 minutes. No decent effects, no charm, no intelligence, no effort. It's a fucking disgrace to film. It needs to be locked in a Death Star for Luke to blow up just for the sake of it.